Well, Malcolm Turnbull's son is orchestrating donations for an independent to oust a sitting Liberal MP who voted to topple his father as Prime Minister. 9 News can tonight reveal the Electoral Commission has been asked to investigate the campaigns of 4 independents after they set up an unusual web of companies.
Well, who would have thought a Turnbull trying to influence Australian politics? Now, this is on Goldman Sachs television, Turnbull's television station. And they have to do this story because it's gone to the Australian Federal Police and other agencies, and people are going to be covering it. And the people that have complained to the AFP, well, they're expecting the media to run with this story, because if they don't, then of course that's just outright censorship. So they run interference here, where they hide the fact that all the money has come from Malcolm Turnbull's trip to Goldman Sachs in New York immediately after he was no longer Prime Minister, and also to muddy the waters on motivation.
Julia Banks quit the Liberal Party in disgust.
So that disgust, they would have us believe, is that she was disgusted that women in the Liberal Party, their careers aren't that successful. That's it. She gave up all of her parliamentary privileges. Well, she's still in Parliament, but for the next election, she had a safe Liberal seat. Even if they lose, she'd still be in opposition. So she's given all that up not because of Liberal parties have any anti-women policies. They've never said that. All they've said is women's careers in the Liberal Party aren't as good as what they think they should be. And she's saying that she resigned over that. Well, there's more to her resignation than that. She's being, as we're just finding out now, they didn't mention this back in November. It's only last year. It's only coming out now, but only because people have complained to the AFP in an investigation. If none of that had happened, we wouldn't find out her connections to the Turnbulls, which she always was. Now, her role is to play up this load of rubbish that the Liberal Party has a woman problem. Again, not because of their policies, but because supposedly they aren't offering the same women don't get the same career paths as men. Again, it's if you look at the numbers on recruitment, it probably works out. The ratio of people trying to get into politics as to who's there, it's probably pretty equal anyway, but women supposedly, well, they want women to think they deserve more. Now, a lot of women are sensible and just whoever goes in, it's all on the best candidate for the job. But some idiot feminists, the best candidate for the job doesn't matter. It's what between their legs. And that's essentially what this is all about. But they're trying to paint them, here it is, conservative parties around the world have a problem and women are losing patience. I mean, so what sort of a headline is that? Which woman, couple, it would have to be 70-80% of women on the street would have to say it, and they just don't think that. Okay, so her role now. Julie Bishop, she's a big Malcolm Turnbull asset. She's huge. She's in deeper than Julia Banks, and she didn't get the leadership, and that was another reason why. Because again, it comes down to there are forces in the Liberal Party. While they're all shonks in the Liberal and Labor, they understand, or they're coming to realise that once those bankers, Turnbull, if they get control, if they get that GDP low enough and the debt high enough, then all the shonksters have got nothing to work off. They've got nothing to feed on anymore, because it's all going to go to the bankers. That's what happened in Greece. It's all owned by internationals now. There's no parties in Greece. You can't be a shonk in Greece anymore, because the shonks have taken the big shonks have taken everything. And so that's what this battle is about, and that's what this denigration of the Libs, that portion of the Libs that want to keep Tomago aluminium. Turnbull's trying to close down with that NEG. He's still going at that. That's one of his main missions. But anyway, so that's Julia Banks's role. So we'll just watch a bit more of her.
Now, as an independent, Ms Banks has admitted to 9 News Malcolm Turnbull's son Alex has helped her find finance in her bid to oust Health Minister Greg Hunt.
So she didn't admit any connections to the Turnbulls back last year when she was resigning. She used to make it out like it was all her. But now, because of this inquiry by the AFP, she's now got a script to read about how, it's Alex Turnbull, not Malcolm. But look, Malcolm and Alex Turnbull, as if there's any separation between those. He is a banker just like his dad, tied up with Goldman Sachs over in Asia somewhere. So it all comes back to Goldman Sachs. So They're just peddling the lie that it's not Malcolm Turnbull when it is.
Alex, again, helped me with the setup of my campaign, the website and setup.
The website cost $8,000 and was paid for by someone organised by Alex Turnbull. His involvement might be limited to just Julia Banks, but 9 News can reveal others look strikingly similar.
That's funny. 9 News can reveal. Now, they know this is all going to come out on other platforms, so they have to report on it. Again, they're running interference because if they totally ignore it, and it's known, it's proven that Goldman Sachs owns Channel 9, as do Deutsche Bank. I'll show that in another video. It's very interesting who owns this TV station, all the international players. But they need to at least pretend to go after Turnbull, or at least mention it, because if they don't, then it's be pretty obvious to everyone.
4 public companies have been set up as financial vehicles by Sydney accountant Damien Hodgkinson.
Well, this is interesting. I've just found this, the Saturday paper, the.com.au, and they reported on this story back in March 2nd, 2019. So that's more than a month ago. Channel 9 are saying we can reveal. They're not revealing anything. This has already been revealed. The campaigner behind Phelps, Banks and Steggall. Why is it only in a Saturday paper? Why are they, an online, looks like publication? I didn't see any of this on mainstream media. Maybe I just missed it. But anyway, look, this clown here, he's like Alex Turnbull. Malcolm Turnbull is hands-on all the way. He went to Goldman Sachs in New York, and all these political strategies were formulated over there, along with the money that he's now got to give to all these people to get elected. So, but if he did it directly, it would just prove that his entire stint in the Liberal Party was to infiltrate it, to do what I said in one of my other videos, to implement Labor Party policies. Now, it just so happens certain Labor Party policies do align with the bankers' goals, so that's why he went over there with the climate change policy and a heap of Labor Party policies that he had going while he was over there in the Liberal Party. So if he was shown to be behind everyone trying to destroy the sides of the Liberal Party that he wants to get at, then it would be proof of that. So that's why he's got this clown and Alex Turnbull. But they may even do some of the work and do the hands-on, but they're put in there primarily to try and separate Turnbull's involvement. But look, he's right behind this. Make no mistake.
Attempting to get a bloc of so-called Liberal independents elected to Australia's parliament.
So really, if they're all funded from the one sort of organisation or source, then they're not really independents, are they? They're all beholden to that source, which is then almost like a political party. But the bankers can't come in and say, okay, we're now a political party. We're going to install our people. I'm not voting for bankers. But look, that's who you're voting for if you vote for any of these. And there's Zali Steggall. Remember, I said in my last video quite a while ago, well, not that long ago, that, she was tied up with Malcolm Turnbull. Forget that get-up stuff. That was all just a distraction. She is part of it as well. She's just come from the clouds trying to topple Tony Abbott. And Malcolm Turnbull was behind it, even though they're trying to say Damien Hodgkinson and Alex Turnbull. Oh, it's all a bit confusing. No, it's not confusing. It's Malcolm Turnbull.
You have to set up a structure, make sure you've got all your I's dotted and T's crossed.
As well as Julia Banks, companies have been set up for Zali Steggall, who was trying to take out Tony Abbott in Warringah, Oliver Yates, who wants Josh Frydenberg's seat of Kooyong, and Karen Phelps, who was trying to hold on to her seat of Wentworth against Liberal Dave Sharma.
These independents, 4 of them, they're just one small part of Turnbull's influence in Australian politics and hold over Australian politics. He still has a heap of people in the Liberal Party, as well as, Michaela Cash, Maurice Payne, Josh Frydenberg, remember the $444 million man for the Great Barrier Reef? He's in on it, even though they reckon they're targeting his seat. No, they're not really after him. And look, as far as Dave Sharma goes, well, it's virtually the same thing, isn't it? He's also a Turnbull asset. And then you've got the Labor Party with certainly Anthony Albanese. Shorten, they've had to include him, but they don't really want him. They'll get rid of him pretty quickly. There's a heap of others in the Labor Party as well. I'll do a video on all that. But these independents, they're just a part of it, part of Turnbull's push to really grab a hold of Australia's parliament.
When you have an independent grassroots campaign, you need to have a vehicle in order to manage donations.
What, manage donations? That's it. What about formulating policy that you have to follow? What about telling you what bills to vote on and which way to vote and that sort of control? What? The people that are funding all this, they don't want any of that. They just want to help you with your donations. Karen Phelps, I've never liked her. I've hated her for a long time, and I hate her even more now.
A host of interesting characters are listed as directors of these campaign companies. In Warringah, former independent mayor and state member for Manly, Peter McDonald, is backing Zali Steggall. In Flinders, former ABC comedian Dan Illick is on Julia Banks's company record.
Dan Illick? What's he got to do with politics or anything? They're just throwing any names up now, just putting them all in to try and obscure Malcolm Turnbull's involvement. I mean, he's just an actor. This is his Wikipedia page, so he's a little bit famous. And I thought this was really interesting down here. December 2014 announced Luke would take up a position in San Francisco as senior producer of satire with Al Jazeera media network. That was interesting. But in 2015, he was sacked after using equipment to film an audition for The Daily Show. Well, none of that's worked out. He's back in Australia, but he's, a director of a company that's funding an independent into politics. That just does not make any sense at all.
Even though she doesn't know him.
I don't have a relationship with Dan Illick.
All right, so let's just get this straight. A comedian who has absolutely no history of any involvement in politics at all is a director of her company that's running her political campaign, and she doesn't know him at all. Well, she doesn't know anything at all. She's been told what to say, what to do, and if she gets it voted in, she'll be told what bills to introduce, how to vote. She's just not an independent. She's a controlled asset of Goldman Sachs.
Zali Steggall is working out of two expensive campaign offices in Warringah too, positioned right next to Tony Abbott's. She says all her money is coming from individuals.
So they've just quoted her, but they don't go on to say that, look, that's just an out-and-out lie, because Nine can reveal, well, the Saturday paper revealed, that she's actually being funded as part of a group. She's not being funded as, individuals.
Over 1,000 donations through the website, small and medium-sized donations. First one was from Darwin for about $200.
Mr Abbott believes these independents need to come clean to voters about exactly where their money is coming from.
You have got a gargantuan amount of money. I mean, after Clive Palmer's advertising spend, I reckon the biggest political spend in this election campaign is going to be the money that Get Up and the unions pour into Warringah.
Tony Abbott's telling a lie there. He knows full well it's not Get Up and it's not the unions, and he knows it's Malcolm Turnbull, but he won't ever say it for self-preservation, because he knows that Turnbull is an absolute psychopath. This was back in 2014. Turnbull attacked him and called him a disloyal C, and he was hopeless and that. And then he says, this is a telling part. It was Malcolm in full flight, angry, bitter, you're hopeless, whatever, you're this. You should resign. He got quite close to his face, so he's intimidated him. So I think, the real psychopath in this idiot here, really came out. So he's just, self-preservation that he's, not going to tell the truth about it, although he's getting his point across that they are organised.
The Liberal Party is concerned this could be a way to get around donations laws, so both the New South Wales and Victorian divisions have asked the Electoral Commission to have a look at it.
All the senior public servants in all the government departments, look, a lot of them are Turnbull's assets anyway, or bankers' assets, like Finkel and Gonski and all those sorts of guys, and that Libby, whatever her name is, at the WGA. So there's no way there'll be someone like that controlling the Australian Electoral Commission. There's no way anyone there is going to cross Goldman Sachs or the Turnbull. So nothing's going to come of it, but at least they've got it on the news, and, I suppose they see it as a bit of a victory that at least people are talking about that they're not independent.
Karen Phelps says that's rubbish, and she's already disclosed her donations from the October by-election.
There are disclosure obligations on all candidates and members of Parliament, and I will be fulfilling those obligations.
So Goldman Sachs Television let their Goldman Sachs asset just have free rein to tell a deception there, because it's in their own story. It's not about donations. She's going on, I'm all transparent about my donations. No, it's not about donations. It's about the complicated structures in the companies to get around donations. Sure, you've done all your legal responsibilities. Now, I don't think the AEC, even if they wanted to, could do anything, but they wouldn't anyway because of the Turnbull threat. But they're just at least having a look at it, and maybe they might introduce something about company structures. But you can bet your bottom dollar it's all above board as far as legalities go. But it's not all above board as far as the outcomes go, which is Goldman Sachs almost setting up a political party through all these companies and getting them into our parliament to control of it. So a vote for any of these independents is a vote for Goldman Sachs and Malcolm Turnbull. Look, he's going to be coming back in a bad way, so just be warned.